Welcome back. On today's quick video, I'm going to walk through some of the headlines I'm watching in the stock market news. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. This is just me telling you what I'm looking at and what I'm watching. So if I jump right in, I watch several different websites. One of them is MarketWatch.com. MarketWatch historically has good data. It has a great format just to be able to get a quick view of what's happening in the economy, top headlines, and additional details. You can have a membership if you would like. I currently do not, and it gives you additional information. But what I'm looking at is the trends in the headlines. It gives you a good sense for how things are moving in the economy from a high level without having to dig down to a low level. So right on the top of the page on MarketWatch, I can see the Dow is down, the S&P 500 is up, and these are just little amounts right now, incrementals. The the Nasdaq is up slightly. The VIX, which is the volatility index, is relatively flat compared to where it was yesterday. Gold and oil, again, minor changes. Now, people are waiting for Nvidia stock to trade, and that's a headline that we'll get into here in a little bit. But what I'm trying to find out is what is the trend? What is the sentiment trend? What are the major issues that people are watching right now? And we can see one of the big articles that has come up is the U.S. consumer confidence is moving higher. What that means is people are feeling better about their net worth, they're feeling better about their financial situation, which means they are likely to spend more money. That can be good and bad. It means they're likely to spend more money on stuff. It also means they're probably likely to chase stock prices, driving prices somewhat higher. And you have to make a decision at that point of, do you think that trend will continue, or do you think it will be short-lived? I don't think anybody knows right now. So that's one of the headlines that I am keeping an eye on. Home price growth cools in June, but high prices hit record high. We know that interest rates came down slightly. That easily could be what triggered a higher home price growth. If people feel that the interest rates are lower, then they will be able to afford more home and they will go out and bid up prices, kind of how it works. There's a few different people speculating on what they think will cause home prices to go up or down. The real estate commission piece is a hot topic. If you watch any social media that is related to housing, you'll see all sorts of arguments between realtors and other people talking about the change in the commissions from the NAR lawsuit. That's a whole separate issue that we're not going to get into, and it's very heated, believe me. You'll see lots of different things on that one. We're seeing trends with Apple's AI-driven supercycle, people speculating that the rollout of the improved AI factors within Apple will drive growth there. We're seeing just a trend, if you look at some of the stocks, where you're getting high quality tech that is moving forward, you're getting other stock that is being shorted and it's going down. So again, just looking high level at different trends. US dollar being close to fairly valued according to Bank of America, different stocks that are going up and down based on earnings reports and CEO movements. Nvidia, of course, is in the news a lot, and we've got lots of opinions out there. So if you're reading any of these articles, make sure you're recognizing if they're opinion or fact. Just lots of different things. The political piece right now, there's a lot of political movement, and that can affect stocks somewhat short term more than long term, depending on how much power the parties that are in office actually have. If you have a Democrat in the White House and Republican-controlled House or Senate, that a lot of times will limit their ability to get anything done. So they'll have a lot of talking moving forward, but they won't necessarily be able to actually get anything done. Whereas if you have a House, a Senate, and the White House controlled by one party, you can expect to have things move in that may affect the stock market and the economy overall. So these are some of the things that I'm watching here on the MarketWatch website. You can see that there's different stocks you can take a look at. You can have a watch list as well as recent stocks you'll see. If you watched my last video, I did do a video on AppLovin and why I sold some of those. Pinduoduo is the parent company of Temu. They also own several other platforms that sell stocks across the world, but largely in China. This one will give you a good feel for how the Chinese economy may be doing. So again, just several different things that I'm watching. So MarketWatch is one of the websites that I take a look at, and today I'm looking at a few different things on that. Benzinga is another website that you'll be able to take a look at and see a lot of different headlines as well as a lot of different articles. So in this one, we talk about lower oil price forecasts. That, of course, helps the U.S. economy with transportation, with people being able to go to and from places, including work and vacations. All of these different factors help us get a sense for how the economy is doing and a general direction just by watching headlines. Looking at some of the top stories, we've got Apple's event coming up. We've got DeSantis, anti-cannabis warpath thing. So again, political actions that may or may not drive different companies. If DeSantis is going after cannabis stocks, that may hurt their ability to grow within the Florida market, but not necessarily on the national front. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, different poll numbers, that can affect how people feel the stock market and the economy is doing, depending on who they feel is going into office and what we feel the agenda items will be that each politician will push. Again, more about Apple, more about Salesforce, just different trends. So what I'm looking at from a high level before I start looking at the individuals is, what is the trend? What are the consumer sentiments? Is there fear largely in the market, or is there positivity in the market? Are people feeling good? Are they feeling bad? Are they feeling like things are going well? What's happening? Seeking Alpha is another one that I look at. And Seeking Alpha is interesting because there's a lot of content created by people who are non-professionals. They may be very good at what they do, but they're not necessarily the professionals that you see on TV. So what I like to see here is, what are people doing? Now, please keep in mind that on this type of a website, there's as many opinions as there are people on the website. So these are not all necessarily things that you want to take into account. I'm looking again at the trends. So I see people that are positive and negative on NVIDIA. I see people that are talking about REITs doing better because of Powell's latest announcement and where interest rates are going. If interest rates go down, REITs will probably do better because they can finance the properties at better rates and make more money. Realty income, again, we're talking about income from a REIT. Talking about S&P 500, here's someone who thinks that there's a bubble and an imminent recession. As you go through, you'll start to pick out the trends. You'll start to notice what people are saying. You'll start to notice how it affects the overall market. And it gives you ideas of what you may want to do in your portfolio. That's what I do. It gives me ideas of how I want to analyze my portfolio. If people think things are doing really well, if stocks have not had a huge run up, I may look at getting more into the stocks that have higher growth when consumer sentiment does well, when interest rates are lower, depending again on where the trends are headed. If everyone is feeling great and if everyone thinks that stocks will never go down, that's the point that I probably will get a little more concerned and trim some of the positions, because inevitably stocks go up and stocks go down. And the goal is to get into stocks when they're lower and get out of stocks when they're higher. Well, not many people want to acknowledge it. Stocks are driven by sentiment. They're driven by public opinion. It's long-term based on fact and company fundamentals, but short-term, there could be a great stock that goes way down because people are scared of where the company is going or where the economy is going. And looking at overall headlines is one way to trigger that. Another great thing about the Seeking Alpha website is it lets you create watch lists. And this watch list that I have here is highly tech driven. I've got another watch list over here that has a lot of different types of stocks. And in a quick view, I can see where the stocks are trending that day. So in this particular case, AI is a company called C3 AI. It does AI-related infrastructure for companies. You can see that that's down a little. AMD, of course, is a chip maker. You can see that's up slightly. AppLovin, I just did another video on it. You can see that it's up slightly today. ARKW is one of Kathy Wood's funds that she has. It's very tech-based, of course. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill. You can see that all of these different stocks have different variations, different sectors in the economy, and I can see where all of them are within a very short time frame of just looking at it. So with looking at the headlines on several different websites, with looking at where the stocks are headed on a general scale, I can get a sense for where I feel things may be on that particular day, and then I can start drilling down. If I want to drill down on a particular company based on what I've seen, for example, if I want to take a look at Chipotle, now I know where I feel the economy is, or where people's sentiment in the economy is on a given day. And then I can look and say, well, Chipotle's gone down recently based on where everything is trending. Do I want to make a decision on this particular stock? Personally, I've held off on getting into Chipotle because of where they're at financially. I think it's a great company. Everyone likes them, of course. but their PE ratio up until recently was astronomically high. It's been recently cut way back. But that's the subject of a whole other video. So if this type of content is helpful to you, please do give us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. If you know someone who may benefit from this type of content, feel free to share. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.